Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, when I last left off, I believe Mrs. Peacock found something according to this card, and it tells me to get card 51, and it is a letter from Scarlet. Because if you look through with the magnifying glass, and you can't see it because it's a bit dark, but it's definitely Scarlet because I took a look. I take a look at it very closely since, So now that we know officially that Scarlet wrote this letter, but the question is she the killer? Well, let's find out. So for now, I'm going to let Professor Plum go to this dark area to 325. Alright, so I turn on a little bit of light so you can see a little bit better. My apologies on the last video. So this is 325, and it says, oh look, Mr. Green gets to say something. Pots, pans, clutterly, and other dirty dishes cover the counter, but one in particular strikes you as out of place. So I have to take card 32, and then I have to read 327. Alright, so I place these cards in the middle of the board. So now let's read this one. Oh, it's a knife. It's another clue. And it also has a Cody thing. You can barely see it, but it says something. It said something. So let's see what it is. You can barely see it with this red magnifying glass. But it says green. So I can assume that this is Green's fingerprints because there's also a fingerprint in the knife. There's also a fingerprint in the envelope, which means that Scarlet has fingerprints on the letters. So I'm going to keep that in the clue deck, and let's see what this one has to say. It's the same question, and he said, who, me? Well, I was alone in the kitchen. Buddy's really got quite the collection of tableware. This not genius, but genuinely silver, And if the whole set is here, I'm sure it's worth quite a lot of cash. That's Mr. Green's statement. I'm going to keep that as a clue as well because it says clue. And that is it for Plum's turn. So next up, I believe it is Peacock's. She goes here. And I'm going to draw 360. Okay, so let's see what it says. It says you find a high security safe. You fiddle with the lock, but are interrupted by beeping. A timer is counting down while everyone panics. You notice something scratch into the side of the safe. This is another one of these time things, which we cannot solve, but this requires puzzle X1, or, It says, count the number of these. Suits of armor, plants with berries, couches. I think according to this, it's telling me something about something to do with the study, I believe. The study? It has to be. Count the suits of armor, which is definitely not the numbers that was on the picture. So it has to be either one. There's only one suit of armor, unless it mentions about pieces, certain pieces. But it didn't say that. Plants, berries. Let's see. I can't count it that closely. And couches, which I believe there's 1 and a 2. I don't see another one. So it's got to be a 2 or a 1. at the lounge, of course. Oh, wait a minute. There's another suit of armor over there. So that puts me to like 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 suits of armor. And as for the berries, I have to count that. Now, because it's one of these time puzzles, I can't solve that either. So I'm going to have to pass on that. Okay, it's Professor Plum's turn. He goes over here. And I already draw this card because I mistakenly think it was Mrs. Peacock's turn. But then I realized that Mrs. Peacock was the one that's like doing the safe thing. So it's Plum's turn, and let's see what it says. This sink appears to be broken. The faucet doesn't work at all, and it makes a horrible shuddering noise. When you try to turn it on, you check under the sink and disconnect it from the plumbing. You find he found a lead pipe, and there's a fingerprint and a clue. Well, there's a coding thing. I'm gonna see what it says, because I don't think you could be able to see it with this magnifying glass. It says none. This could only mean that I can't even talk. This could only mean that there is no fingerprints in this lead pipe. But I believe there are fingerprints in the knife, so green could potentially be the suspect here. That's it for the turn. Let's see. I'm gonna have Mrs. Peacock go to the billiard room. But I think I have to wrap this up, so stay tuned for more.